Hello, Shawnee Stars. Mrs. Simon here. I want to read to you another story to go along with our upcoming theme for Positivity Project. So this coming week, we're going to be talking about self-control. I'm sure you've heard that word before. We talk about it here. I'm sure your parents have probably talked with you about it. But self-control is basically that you have the ability to control yourself. So your thoughts, your actions, your behaviors, the things that you do, the things that you say, you have the ability to control them. You think before you act. Okay, so think before you do something to make sure it's a good choice, right? So that's self-control. And this week we're going to read a story about a little boy named Lewis, and Lewis struggles with self-control. So we're going to find out what happens here. The story is called My Mouth is a Volcano, and it is written by Julia Cook. My name is Lewis. People say I erupt a lot. I don't think I do. I have a lot to say, and all of my words are very important to me. Does he mean erupt, or does he mean something else that sounds like erupt? Let's think about it. When other people talk, words just pop into my head. Then they slide down onto my tongue. My tummy starts to rumble, and then it starts to grumble. My words begin to wiggle, and then they do a jiggle. My tongue pushes all of my important words up against my teeth, and then I erupt. Words just explode out of my mouth. My mouth is a volcano. Hey guys, what you doing? In class, my teacher says that when we want to say something, we are supposed to look at her, raise our hand, and wait until she calls on us. I tried that. After I waited patiently for what seemed like 62 years, my important words slid down from my head onto my tongue. My tummy started to rumble, and then it started to grumble. My words began to wiggle, and then they did the jiggle. My tongue pushed all of my important words into my teeth, and my volcano erupted. Teacher, I think we should have recess all day. I'm hungry too. Can we go to lunch now? My teacher was less than pleased. She erupted me right back. I know what you are saying is important to you, Lewis, but since it's not an emergency, you'll have to wait until I call on you. It was my volcano's fault. So when he says, she erupted me right back, I think he's thinking about interrupted, right? When you interrupt somebody. Okay. At daycare, we were sitting on the rug listening to Miss Polly read us a story about planting trees. All of a sudden, I thought about the time my grandpa and I planted 6 trees in his front yard. My important words slid down from my head onto my tongue. My tummy started to rumble, and then it started to grumble. My words began to wiggle, and then they did the jiggle. My tongue pushed all of my important words into my teeth, and my volcano erupted. Hey, guys, once I planted zillions of trees with my grandpa, and I got a timeout. It was my volcano's fault. During dinner, Mom and Dad were talking about paying the bills. Then I thought about my friend Bill. Bill can blow a bubble inside of a bubble when he chews 2 pieces of gum. Now that is really important. My important words about Bill slid down from my head onto my tongue. My tummy started to rumble, and then it started to grumble. My words began to wiggle, and then they did the jiggle. My tongue pushed all of my very important words into my teeth, and my volcano erupted. Hey, Mom, Bill can blow a bubble in a bubble with his gum. Lewis, my mom said, you interrupted again. If somebody else is talking and you don't have an emergency, you have to wait your turn. But Mom, my words, they slide down from my head onto my tongue. Then my tummy starts to rumble. Lewis, you did it again. I got sent to my room. She said I was rude. It was my volcano's fault. The next day at school was my very important day. I had been waiting for 126 weeks to be the star student of my class. This was my special moment. I got to share a poster with my class that had pictures of all of my favorite things. I stood up in front of the class and began to tell them about the time I went fishing. Halfway through my story, Richard started to tell everybody about when he went deep sea fishing in Mexico. His story must have been better than mine because everyone started to look at him. He was stealing my important words. Richard, said my teacher, you just interrupted Lewis. Please wait until he is finished talking and then he might call on you. I couldn't believe how rude that was of Richard. He interrupted me. That really made me angry. After talking about my fishing trip, I started to explain the x-ray of my broken arm. Just as I was getting it to the good part, Courtney started to tell the class about when she broke her leg. Courtney, said my teacher, you just interrupted Lewis. Wait until he's finished talking and then he might call on you. I couldn't believe how rude that was of Courtney. She started talking right during my 15 minutes of fame. She ruined my important words. She almost stole my moment. When I got home, I told my mom about rude Richard and rude Courtney. Now, you know how we feel about you interrupting us, said Mom. I never thought about that. I just get so excited and my words, they just pop into my head. Then they slide down onto my tongue. My tummy starts to rumble and then it starts to grumble. My words begin to wiggle and then they do the jiggle. Then my tongue pushes all of my important words up against my teeth and I erupt. Words just explode out of my mouth. My mouth is a volcano. Maybe Richard and Courtney have volcanoes in their mouths too, my mom replied. I never thought about that. Well, son, the next time your important words are pushed into your teeth by your tongue, bite down hard and don't let them out. Then take a deep breath and push your words out through your nose. Then when it's your turn to talk, take a deep breath and breathe them back into your mouth. Will that work? I asked. Only if you make it work, said my mom. That night at the dinner table, my sister Sylvia was in the middle of one of her long girl stories. When my important words began to slide down from my head and my volcano started to do its thing. Just as my tongue started to push my words out through my teeth, I bit down really hard, then I breathed my words out through my nose. As soon as my sister finished talking, I took a deep breath and back in went the words. I was amazed that they had just hung around outside my mouth and didn't float away. Then I told my story and nobody got mad at me for erupting. You can see he's breathing his words out and then he sucks them back in. After that, I never erupted again. Well, except for the time Bill's bubble got stuck in my hair. That was a real emergency. So, boys and girls, you can see Lewis struggled a little bit with controlling talking, and he wanted to just get his words out. And I know a lot of times it's really hard because we feel that the things that we want to say are important, right? But just like Lewis learned self-control, we need to have some strategies and things that we do that help us to be able to control the things that we say, the things that we do, whether it's taking deep breaths, whatever it is that you have. Hopefully you can learn some strategies to help you with self-control and being able to control yourself and the things that you say and your actions and your words. All right, so we're going to work on that this week. We're going to talk about self-control throughout this next week for our positivity project. So hopefully you enjoy that and we will see you soon. Bye.